Hey guys, Kellen Chase with Unstoppable Fitness. Good evening. I'm just finishing a workout doing Jim Wendler's 531. It was shoulder day, so shoulders and fun accessories, beach muscles. Today I want to talk to you about a couple things. Weight gain progression, and also just the idea of progress and how it can mess up your gains or your progress, or like how it can stop you dead in your tracks if you're not looking at it in the right way. So first, let's talk a little bit about weight gain progression and 531. So when it comes to weight gain, especially if you're looking for proper weight gain and muscle mass and that type of thing, there is a simple formula. And that is eat heavy, lift heavy. So first thing I look at whenever I'm doing diet design or meal planning for others or myself is, where am I getting my protein from? It's my protein first rule. So when I'm planning out a weight gain progression, I'm going to be looking at like protein first, as I said, and then basing the rest of the calories around that. So I'll be looking at somebody's diet on whether they're allergic to anything in particular, whether they follow a certain diet regime such as keto or paleo or any of those other things. But again, I'm going to focus on probably a pound or a gram per pound of body weight. That is my rough go-to. You can do 1 to 1.5. I, for myself, have done all the way up to 2 sometimes, but it's unnecessary and a little bit crazy. But that's what I'll put in place first. Then I'll be looking at, for this mass gain and for this muscle gain and for this, progression of strength and weight, I'll be looking at the overall calorie intake, and I'll look at that on a weekly basis. I'll for the meals, I'll average that out for a weekly basis. But you want to see how aggressive somebody wants to be with their weight increase, and you want to use 10% to 15% is generally what I start with, above their resting metabolic rate, base metabolic rate, however you want to say it. So I'll do that, and then we'll check in a week. We'll check in at 2 weeks, and we'll see, okay, how has the weight gain been over that time? Are we hitting the goals that we want? If not, we'll bump it up by another 10%, and see. The issue is that as we start to increase intensity on workouts and mass, increasing our strength and increasing our the strength and volume that we're doing in our workouts, the calorie, the epoch, the calories that are burned after the workout, it starts to get a little bit crazy. So it gets harder to do the mass gain that we're looking for. But anyway, so those are the main things for a weight gain progression that I'm going to look at first. After that, it's upping the work in the gym. So going for strength, I'll usually start with a strength progression, and if somebody's new, like really new, then I'll go with a linear progression, meaning that week after week we're just doing a straight linear gain in weight. So each week we're adding 5 pounds or 10 pounds depending on the lift, and we're sticking to very similar, like either the same or very similar exercises the whole way through. The reason for that is because the central nervous system gets better and better at recruiting more of the muscle fibers that someone has available. So somebody may already have a lot of muscle, or may have muscle, maybe not a lot of muscle, but they're not utilizing all of it usually. So when somebody's new, they can gain strength very quickly because they actually aren't needing to build any more mass at that point. They're literally just recruiting more of what they've already got. So with that type of strength progression, if it's a mass progress, somebody's trying to increase their muscle mass over time, I go straight for strength because it helps us to recruit more of the muscles, meaning we get to work more of the muscles, meaning we get to get micro tears in more of the muscles and recover faster, meaning more mass. So for a linear progression, I'll usually look at something like starting strength. You're probably somebody who's already seen that because it has blown up in popularity over the last bit, and I think a lot of that is because of Nerd Fitness. Those guys are doing the damn thing. It is awesome. I'm an Audible freak, and I came across an audiobook written by that guy, and listening to it, I'm like, man, this guy is me. He just took more action on building something of great value for others, and it's beautiful. So anyway, check out that book. It's I can't remember what it's called at all, but it's great. It's like Turn Yourself into a Superhero or something. Anyway, starting strength. Check that one out. It's really good. Very basic. The basic movements that you need. If you cannot squat, meaning if you can't hit the right depth with the right form, you are going to need to do a lot of mobility exercises and mobility work. I suggest you do it. I have been on the end of not doing that type of thing and hurt myself very badly, and lived to tell the tale and came back stronger than ever. But it really, and you know what, it woke me up to a lot of things, and I'm grateful for the experience now because I'm able to help a lot of other people with it, with the knowledge that I gained coming through that struggle. But I don't want you to have to struggle that way. And my motto, which I think I've stolen from someone else, if anybody can remember, give me a little note in the comments, but the fastest way to progress is to not get hurt. Really, if you get hurt, you go backwards, and you go backwards far. Whereas if you even just stay the same, you're not going backwards at the same rate. So really avoid injury. Make sure you're getting the right, you've got the right form on all the exercises that you're doing. So for those of you who don't have the hip mobility or the thoracic spine mobility to get into the proper position for a squat, right? If you've got the butt wink, there are a few things going on there. Usually it means your hips are too tight and your thoracic spine is not mobile enough, meaning that your lumbar spine has to accommodate for the lack of motion that you have in those other two areas. You can also help to mobilize your ankles, and that will also help to eliminate that. But until you can get to parallel and maybe an inch below parallel, meaning that the crease of your hips is below your knees, right? That is a full powerlifting squat position. Until you can get there without the butt wink. So literally go and look in the mirror, look to the side as you're doing your squat, get a friend to film you, however you want to do it. Until you can get to that position without that butt wink, meaning that your pelvis is tilting at the bottom in order to give you that extra depth. Work your hips, work your hip mobility, work your thoracic mobility. If you want stuff to what I've done in the past is I came back from a horrible back injury, literally crawling out of the gym, told I was never going to be able to lift again, and I said F that. But I put together a mobility routine for myself after a lot of research, and I've been doing that for a while. If you want access to that, I've got it on my blog, so go over to unstoppablefitness.co. I've probably got a sticker up for it now, so check it out. I record these videos and then I do the work on the other website. So if you're wondering why I'm like, I think I've got it up, that's why. Anyway, yeah, so starting strength. Start there. If you can't get the squat, work on your mobility. I suggest doing goblet squats or front squats until you can get the proper back squat form. Those two are a lot easier to get to the proper range of motion and depth that you need. So especially the goblet squat. Thank Dan John for that one. He is a genius. and it's great for increasing your mobility anyway. If you do a very long, slow, eccentric goblet squat, it will help you actually better than long-term stretching. A lot of studies have been done around... I just missed my exit. Good times. A lot of studies have been done around stretching and eccentric motion. One versus the other. Eccentric motion actually is better for you in terms of increasing mobility without hindering performance. So, do like a 10-second, 20-second goblet squat. That'll help you get there. So, that is starting strength, linear progression. Another one that I like a lot is Mad Cow, which is a variant of that. It is also linear progression. Look both of these up. You'll be happy you did. If you are more advanced and you need and your body breaks down under that type of week over week increase, then I suggest you go to something in terms of a block progression. This is something where you will have a base week, a slight increase, and a deload, and then back to base, and then a slight increase, and a deload. So the block in that case is a 1 month block. You are talking about a 3-week progression and a 1-week deload. What that does is it helps us stronger, more intense people who are already recruiting at our muscle mass at a very high percentage. It gives us time for our central nervous system to recover from the intense load that we put on it. So a great example of this, and one of my favorites, is Jim Wendler's 5-3-1. It's what I am working on now. It is generally what I fall back on as my base workout. Unless I've got something fancy that I'm working on, and when I mean fancy is I mean some workout that I've gotten really excited about from one of the coaches that I love and respect. And if I'm working one of those, then I will generally take more attention, more time, more planning. A lot of them, the ones that I do, generally don't work very well in a busy box gym like the one that I'm currently working out in. And so for that, I'll go back to the basics, which for me is Jim Wendler's 5-3-1 program, because that 5-3-1 workout is great, really good for increasing strength and giving you the deload to do it, right? Like, that deload is a very important piece. Cool. So that, we've talked about linear progression, we've talked about block progression. So in terms of your weight gain progression, or your strength training progression, those are the things that I would focus on. We talked about the diet, we talked about what to do for tracking your calories and your protein, and then we talked about what to do for your strength gains. Now, I promised you that we would also talk about my concept of progress that I've been thinking about. I mean, it's not my concept of progress, but it's something that's come up in, I've been working with 3 clients over the past 3 days, and then was also writing something else out, and all of these things just kept pinging me with this idea of progress and how we can really mess up our goals, our progress, our success if we don't look at progress in the right way. And so what do I mean by that? What's the danger here of looking at progress poorly? Well, I'll give you the first background. One of my clients is getting back into the gym after a while. I've been coaching him for a while on a lot of different things. Actually, not specifically fitness at all, because this guy is in great shape and has a lot of knowledge and a lot of success there already. But we got talking about just in general as things come up in life. One of the things was his fitness, and I was just talking about what I do when I get back into the gym after taking a hiatus of some sort. When life gets busy with business or whatever it is, I take a break for a bit and I get back in. the way that I do it anymore is not trying to jump right back into where I was, super strong before. I literally just look at where my strength levels were before. I cut it in half, and that's my first workout, and I start there. Because for me, I know that it is the long-term gain. Long-term game. For me, I look at that as I haven't been in the gym. 50% is going to feel like a great warm-up. And I'm going to do, I'll do my warm-up piece, and then I'll do my workout piece at the same weight. Some of you might be like, that's crazy. And my client he said to me like, oh, wow, I never thought about that. I instead usually beat myself up about, wanting to be back at where I was before, and then I get mad at myself for not being there. And believe me, I have done that. I totally know that spot. And I think the most important piece that I've picked up over my time is like the importance of knowing where the heck you're at. And if you haven't been working out for 3 months, like those numbers on the paper that you wrote down in your journal or that you've got in your mind from whenever, like those were a different time. Those were then. And muscle memory. Like you've got muscle memory. If you've been there, you'll get back there very quickly. But the fastest way that you can, hurt yourself again or hurt yourself at all is like to pretend that you're as strong as you were, when you were working out on a regular basis, not, oh, I haven't been working out forever and my muscles aren't like ready for that again. I'm just going to jump right back into it. So this same topic came up with someone that I was coaching around a really bad back injury. So I've had a bad back injury and recovered and came back stronger than I ever was. And there are other people who've had that. And so this client that I was talking with, I felt where they were at. And they said to me, it feels like nothing's working. It feels like nothing I can do is working, and I'm stuck here. And like it's that idea that wherever you are right now is forever. And if you're in a bad place, if you're hurting, if you're in constant pain, and you can't do the things you want to do, God, that is hard. I will tell you what, that is a hard place to be, especially when you think that it's going to be forever. And so what I said to them is I just relayed where I had been, which was I had literally crawled out of the gym, was told that I'd never be able to lift again, was told I'd probably need surgery, and that there was really nothing that I could do lifting anything more than 5 pounds. I don't know if you've carried groceries out of the grocery store, but that's more than 5 pounds. And I was told that that was going to be my life, and I said F that. But I was laying down. I could not lay down in bed without pain, right? Because the mattress was too soft and it allowed too much motion between my hips and my shoulders that it would tweak my back just with how tight my muscles were trying to keep my spine straight. So literally couldn't sleep on my own bed. I was sleeping on the floor for a couple months because it was hard. It was soft. Sorry, I just clicked a button. It was hard. It was solid. It was the only thing I could really do. So progress for me, what I wanted was I wanted to be up and moving and feeling good and lifting weights again yesterday. But what was real, what was actually possible from where I was maybe being able to sit down for more than a minute without pain next week. Like that was the difference that I had to look at. And so I was relaying this to this client just to give them a sense that like, one, I've been there. Like I know what that type of pain is like. I know what that type of despair is like. And two, that progress sometimes looks very different. Sometimes it is, and for me, I was saying like, I would lay there and I would roll my hip an inch and I would be happy with that because I knew that I didn't feel pain right there, whereas yesterday I did, right? And so it was, for me, really slow getting those very small motions and small movements, being able to work up to actually being able to move properly. And eventually, when I started focusing on the right things, on mobilizing the right areas and activating the right areas, and stretching what needed to be stretched, and tightening up what needed to be tightened up, that's when I got real fast progress. But I couldn't get to that until I could really slow down and get back to inchworm status. So I want to relay that. And also, you know what? It's an interesting one. I'm doing these YouTube videos, and maybe somebody in a year will be watching this video and be like, wow, Kellen really sucked at those videos back then. But I'll put up a video and I'll get 0 views. And I'm following a long-term game. And I have to recognize that I don't have a platform, I don't have the pages on YouTube, I don't have all this stuff, but I'm still putting these videos out there because I've learned enough. When really you can never learn enough, but I've learned enough to help others, to put out what I know, because I know that when people ask me for advice, and it helps them, it's great. And I know that putting all of this stuff that people have asked me about in the past onto a platform is going to help a lot more people. And right now it's very few views, and it's kind of funny to just all right, we're back at inchworm progress, and it's a cool place to be. It's an interesting one. It even takes me back to the beginning of when I started lifting. My mom benched more than I could on the first day, and I remember there was something about that was sparked me to be a fitness guy for life, but I could not stand for it. But it took me a while to be able to bench anywhere near what my mom could, because she had been working out for a long time, and she was not a big woman by any means, but she was in shape. And I was a scrawny little kid that was not. But anyway, I hope you take that idea around progress and get that, the importance of not stopping when progress doesn't look the way that you think it should. Instead, taking a step back and seeing, where am I now? And looking at it from the most objective and honest place that you can. Because, we've got these personal biases. I had to face that when I got injured, that, I'm better than this. I can do this. I can do anything, blah, blah, blah. What I had to really sit with is, you know what? I'm human. And I'm injured, and it's going to take me a while to get there. And when I finally got to that place, it allowed me to make rapid progress, but it didn't look rapid from where I had been before. It only looked like rapid progress once I really got down to making the small changes to improve day by day. And once I was on that path, once I was doing that, boom, I lifted more weight, than I ever could. I won powerlifting competitions when I never was told I'd never be able to lift again. And it's those types of things that are important to see, that you have to make progress from the right perspective and where you're at. So anyway, this has been a long one today. I hope you've enjoyed it. I am just getting to my destination. So this has been Kellen with Unstoppable Fitness. I hope that you make great progress and have good success with your weight gain progressions and your strength gain progressions. And like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already for more long ramblings from me. And stay strong, stay healthy. Bye.